Hello friends, myself Anurag Bharadwaj, and once again I welcome you all at my virtual platform. Friends, in today's class we shall discuss about the classification of the missile. That's a subsequent part of my first video. Those who are newcomers and who have not been seen my first video, kindly visit my channel and watch my first video. That was based on basics of the missiles, where we have seen all the chambers, all the parts of the missile and how it functions, what are the significance of the missiles and its part. We have seen all these things there in my first video. So without wasting any single minute, let's start our session. And today's class we shall discuss about the classification of missile. And there can be n number of types and number of way to classify a missile, but here we will see some certain we can say like part which are important from the point of view of examination. And in this order I have divided all the classification into 6 categories, namely based on path. First classification, that is based on path. Second one would be launch pad. Third one would be based on application. Fourth one would be based on range, then destruction, and the last but not the least would be based on speed. These could be total 6 categories of the classification where we will see all the comprehensive part of missile. So let's continue. The first one is based on path. And as we have discussed in my first video too, like if we are going to launch a longer range missile, then it has to follow a parabolic path, and in case of missile which has a shorter range, it has to follow an elliptical path. This is the basic difference. We will discuss this part here in this today's video only. I made a kind of, this one could be a kind of parabolic path, and this one can be imagined as the surface of Earth, and here this path would be elliptical path. This one would be elliptical path and this one would be parabolic path. What is the difference between the both? You will see when a person has to throw a ball, or when a person has to throw an object for a longer distance, to cover a longer distance, then the person has to follow, or that object has to follow, the path called parabolic path. And in case of high precision level, the person or the object has to follow the elliptical path. Elliptical path can be seen as a kind of like path which is going nearby the surface of Earth, and that is why it will not reach there in the upper part of the atmosphere. It will remain within the atmosphere. Precision level would be comparatively higher, and this is one of the quality which can be used in the cruise missiles which are known for their precisions. But in case of higher longer range missiles, especially ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, where the range would start from 5,500 kilometer, you will see that most of these countries use this parabolic path for the ballistic missile. So what is the difference here? Parabolic path could be considered as parabolic path, also known as ballistic path, and that's why this is the name of the missile. Ballistic missiles are those missiles that has to follow the parabolic path in order to complete its journey. And for that you will see that once after the launching, it will reach beyond the atmosphere, it will reach out of the atmosphere, and approx 70 to 80% of its journey has to be covered there out of the atmosphere, exosphere. Okay, and this is one of the quality of the missile, where you will see that at the part of the at the end of the target that has to be hit by that particular missile, you will see that missile will again re-entry there in the atmosphere, and this technology is known as re-entry technology. And why it is important? Because re-entry is one of the phase where the missile is going to struggle because of the higher amount of friction of air, because of the lower, because of the high rate of gravitation that is being applied there on that particular vessel. So these could be a kind of challenge, and in this condition, the missile has to follow the path which will ultimately hit the target properly. And this is one of the thing which is going to be followed there in the ballistic missile. Okay, and one more benefit in the ballistic missile, the vessel has to required what? Vessel has to require the fuel for half distance only. It means the exact half distance of the particular path would be covered under the impact of fuel, while rest of the distance has to be covered under the gravitation. And this is one of the beauty, this is one of the best significance of ballistic missile, which is going to work along with the gravitation of Earth. And along with that, as we have discussed earlier, ballistic missiles are those which are going to hit the target. It starts from the distance of 300 kilometer to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 kilometer. In today's world, you will see that ICBM has one of the category where most of the countries, including India, are making missiles with a range of approx 15,000 kilometer, which could be almost, considered as a kind of like missile which can hit the target situated there in the North America or the South America, while the launching pad is situated here in India. These are the qualities. While elliptical path is one of the best feature as well as the significance of cruise missile, and cruise missiles are those which are known for their precision level, high precision level with the high speed. So this is the basic difference. And here, as we can see, precision level would be higher, but fuel would be required for the entire journey. There is no any force of gravitation applied over that particular vessel, because the speed of the vessel would be far better, far higher than the gravitation pull, and that is why it will not be impacted through the gravitation of Earth, and the fuel is required for the whole journey, not for the half journey, for the whole journey. This should be there in your mind while you are remembering these two categories. Example of ballistic would be Agni series, and while the example of the cruise missile could be this BrahMos series of the India, which is developing with the help of Russia. Now we will see second category based on launch mode. Launch mode in the sense like from where we are launching the missile, whether from the earth surface, whether from the water, whether from the air, it depends. But apart from that, you will see that it provides some certain kinds of quality to the particular missile when we talk about the launch mode. Let's say, for example, the first category could be SSM, that stands for surface to surface missile. When the launching station and target both are on the surface, then such kind of missiles which are going to hit the target situated on the surface would be identified as SSM or surface to surface missile. Second category is surface to air missile. When I am going to launch a missile to hit the target which is situated there in the air, such kind of missiles would be surface to air missile. The beauty of surface to air missile would be these are capable missiles to hit the movable targets. Movable in the sense, let's say for example there is a fighter jet of the enemy which is roaming there in the atmosphere of a particular country. They can hit such kind of fighter jets with the help of SAM, surface to air missile. The third one category stands for air to air missile. Air to air missiles are those that would be equipped with a particular fighter jet or the helicopter. These would be installed over the fighter jet or the helicopter and would be launched to hit the target situated there in the air only. Let's say for example there is fighting going on between the two fighter jets, and one fighter jet would launch a missile over the second one. Such kind of category of the missile would be air to air missile. Next one, Astra is one of the famous missile of India that fall under the category of AAM. Same goes with the SAM, where Trishul and Akash are two famous missiles. For SSM you will see there is a vast categories, there is a vast series where the Agni, Prithvi, Prahar, all these are the missiles which are of the category of SSM. Next would be ASM, air to surface missile. Now the launching station would be air and target would be situated there on the surface. Let's say for example, when a fighter jet is equipped with a missile and is going to hit the target situated there in the enemy land, then in that condition such kind of missiles would be ASM, air to surface missile. Next is C2 surface missile. C2 surface missiles are those that would hit the target situated there on the surface, but these missiles would be launched from the water, and this is the beauty of such kind of missiles, as they can be launched within the water, they can be launched from the deep sea also. So for which there is a famous category of missiles here in the India called K series, Kalam series or Kill series, that was started in year 2000 when missiles were developed to install over the, we can say one of the submarine of India called Arihant. So these are the series. There are two missiles famously known as K4 Sagarika and K15, which are the Agni series version also, which can be launched from the water deep sea, and these missiles would hit the target situated over the surface of Earth. And the last but not the least, one of the famous category called anti-tank missiles. Anti-tank missiles are those which have the capability to hit the missiles, to hit the tank of enemy, as the name suggested. But the beauty of this missile is these missiles are also known as heat-seeking missile. Heat-seeking missile. What does that mean? You must have seen and you must have heard about the tank when it will roam, when it will move. Then just because of the atmosphere, it's a surface. The surface of the tank would be heated up. And just because of that, when there is a heated up surface of a tank, you will see that infrared radiation would be radiated, or infrared radiation would be emitted from the surface of the heat surface, and this is one of the beauty that would be catched by a particular missile, and that's why it is known as heat-seeking missile. Heat-seeking missiles are those which are based on infrared control system that would seek the heat coming from a particular territory or a particular object, and then ultimately hit that particular object where the heat is coming, from where the heat is coming. So this is another category called anti-tank. Nag and Helena. Nag stands for, Nag is one of the famous missile of India, anti-tank missile, and its helicopter version is known as Helena. Helicopter Nag, it's a helicopter version. Both are the missiles under the anti-tank series. Okay. Now we will see another category based on application or use. This is one of the very interesting category, and especially for those who are newcomers in the field of science and technology. You must have seen the tusk of elephant. Tusk of elephants are those which are required for the beautification of the elephant. It means you will see tusks are those things which can never be used by the elephant in order to chew its food and all. Those are the kinds of beautification things of elephant. Okay, and generally the people initially also use the tusk of elephant for making their ornaments and all. So this category of the missile is based on the tusk and actual teeth of elephant. You must have heard a kind of saying there in the Hindi, hathi ke daant khane ke aur dikhane ke aur. It means these are the two categories, namely tactical and strategic missiles. Tactical missiles are those which are of shorter range and are going to be used there in the battlefield by a particular country in case of fight, in case of war, in case of any kind of scuffle or struggle. So tactical missiles are those that can be considered as a kind of actual original teeth of the elephant that would be used at the time of consumption of food. And same goes with the India or the country who is going to use such kind of missile there in the battlefield. So tactical missiles have two features. Shorter range of missiles are there in the tactical series or category of the missile, and second thing, these missiles are going to be used actually there in the battlefield. While strategic missiles are those which are going to be used for balance of power of a particular country there in the territory. You must have heard about a term called geopolitics. In order to play a game there in the geopolitics of a particular country, that country would make its own strategic missiles. For example, in India, you will see the whole Agni series is completely dedicated to the strategic missile category. Reason being, we never going to use such kind of missiles there in the battlefield. These are the tusk of India which are going to create a threat there in the nation, among the nations, so that they cannot use their weapons or their missiles against the India. So this is the one of the category of the missile that is designed to maintain the balance of power within the territory. Okay, let's see another one based on destruction. This is again one of the important as well as very interesting category, which is based on one of the convention called MTCR. MTCR is Missile Technology Control Regime. This is one of the regime that was brought by most of the developed country earlier there in the 1980s, and in 2016 India became its one of the permanent member. So this is important from the point of view of India also, but before that we will discuss about its category which is based on MTCR. As I told you, MTCR is a group of developed nation initially, but later developing nations also joined this. And what is MTCR? It controls the export of missile. It controls the export of missiles having range more than 300 kilometer and having warhead capacity more than 500 kg. What does that mean? If a country is capable enough in making missiles with the range of 300 or more, or with the warhead capacity of 500 kg or more, then a country, that particular country, can develop such kind of missiles. But in order to maintain the relation, in order to maintain the trade relation, it is not possible that a developed or developing country or a country which is a member of MTCR, such country shall never export the missiles having range more than 300 kilometer or the warhead capacity more than 5000 kilogram. This is the, we can say, one of the condition. Based on this condition, there are two categories of the missile, namely defensive and offensive. Defensive missiles are those which are going to be used by a smaller nation, developing nation or underdeveloped nation for their own protection. In that condition, a developed or developing nation can export the missile, but the limitation are such missiles shall never cross the limit of 300 kilometer and 500 kg. This is the kind of, we can say, this is the kind of like shield that has to be followed by a particular country before exporting its missile. Okay. Until 2016, as I told you, India joined this MTCR in 2016, and before 2016, when BrahMos deal was done between the India and Russia, the original range of BrahMos missile was 280 kilometer, and the reason is this, because India was not the member of MTCR, and that's why Russia was not able to provide such kind of missiles to India with the technology or with the range of more than 300 kilometer. In today's world, you will see when we have BrahMos 2nd, the range of BrahMos 2nd is 1000 kilometer, more than 1000 kilometer. So you can match the difference. Initially it was 280, right now its range is 1000 kilometer. This is because of India being the member of MTCR. Before that it was not possible. So the line is this 300 kilometer and 500 kg. Kg means overall weight of warhead which is going to be equipped over the top of that particular missile. You should keep it in your mind. Next category would be based on range. Based on range and based on speed, these are again the categories of ballistic and cruise missile. This based on range category is for ballistic missiles. Ballistic missiles are generally further classified in these category, and you will see that the names are SRBM, which stands for short range ballistic missile. Second one would be medium range ballistic missile. Third one would be intermediate range ballistic missile, and the last but not the least, intercontinental ballistic missile. I am going to write the limit. See, 300 to 1000 kilometer limit of SRBM, 1000 to 3500 kilometer limit of MRBM, 3500 to 5500 kilometer IRBM, and more than 5500 kilometer, this is ICBM. If the range of a missile is between 300 to 1000 kilometer, such missiles are known as SRBM, short range ballistic missile. If the range of the missile falls between 1000 kilometer to 3500 kilometer, such missiles are MRBM. Then 3500 to 5500, this is IRBM, intermediate range ballistic missile, and beyond 5500 limit, the missile would be ICBM. India is one of the member of ICBM club because we have Agni 5th and Agni 6th missile under the Agni series, and all the Agni missiles under the series are the examples of SRBM, MRBM, IRBM, ICBM. You know, all the missiles are there which fall under the category of all four ranges. Is that clear or not? It should be clear. This is one of the basic things. Next one is for based on speed, which is for cruise missile. As I told you earlier too, cruise missiles are those that can never be, classified under the range formula. For cruise missile, there is another formula called speed. And what is speed? The speed of sound. Here we are going to talk about the speed of sound in air. What's the number? The speed of sound in the air is 343 meter per second. You must have heard this one. The speed of sound in the air is 343 meter per second, which is in science, which is known as 1 Mach. On the behalf of this 1 Mach, there are total 3 categories of missile called subsonic missile, supersonic missile and hypersonic missile. Subsonic missiles are those having total speed of the missile less than 1 Mach. When the speed of the missile is less than 1 Mach, such kind of missiles are known as subsonic missile. The example would be Nirbhaya missile of India. When the speed of the missile is somewhere between 1 and 5 Mach, then it would be considered as supersonic. BrahMos can be considered as an example to it. And the last but not the least, if the limit of the missile, if the speed of the missile is 5 or more than 5 Mach, then such missiles are known as hypersonic missiles. So these are the 3 categories which are for cruise missile based on the speed of sound there in the air, which is 343 meter per second, which is also known as 1 Mach, equal to 1 Mach. So here we are going to calculate, or here we are going to compare the speed of cruise missiles with the help of this 1 Mach formula. If the speed is less than 1 Mach, called subsonic. If the speed is somewhere between 1 and 5, then would be considered as supersonic. And if the speed is going beyond 5 Mach, then missile would be considered as hypersonic. Nirbhaya, BrahMos and BrahMos 2 are the examples of these 3 categories respectively. So I hope you would like my video, and if you like, kindly subscribe my channel, like my video and share it with your friend, so that all the persons, all the aspirants can enjoy the video and can take the benefits of it. Thank you so much. Thank you.